Today, Abraham Lincoln takes most of the credit for ending slavery through the Civil War. However, this is not an entirely true fact. While the Civil War had a large hand in ending slavery, as did Abraham Lincoln, it was actually the 13th Amendment that officially put an end to slavery. Senate passed the 13th Amendment on April 8, 1864, and by the House on January 31, 1865. Of course, Lincoln still played a significant role in ending slavery, but he cannot take complete credit for ending the era of American slavery. Nevertheless, here are 40 more things you probably didn't know about the 16th President of the United States. Number 15. Lincoln never belonged to an organized church. Abraham Lincoln was always a religious man, especially during the days of the Civil War. He would often be caught praying to God during the Civil War. However, this did not mean that Abraham Lincoln ever became a member of an organized church. In fact, throughout his whole life, Lincoln was never part of any organized church. But, even so, this did not stop Lincoln from taking time every day to read the Bible, which is a habit Lincoln had from his days as a young boy. Number 14. Lincoln did not have a middle name. Today, it is normal for people to have a middle name. In fact, many people are given two and sometimes more middle names. Abraham Lincoln's name was just that. He did not have a middle name as his parents, Thomas and Nancy, never gave their son a middle name, but this does not mean Lincoln's name did not have meaning. His first name, Abraham, came from his paternal grandfather, who was killed by Native Americans. Number 13. Lincoln shares a birthday with Charles Darwin. Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809, which was the exact day and year as Charles Darwin, biologist and contributor to the theory of evolution. On this date, Lincoln was born to a poor farm family in Kentucky, while Darwin was born on a grand Georgian estate in Shrewsbury, England, overlooking the river. However, no matter what their backgrounds were, both of these men grew up to live amazing lives and mark their spot in history. Number 12. Lincoln was a fan of Booth. Abraham Lincoln was a fan of the actor and his assassin, John Wilkes Booth. During his later life, Lincoln saw Booth perform a few times and believed he was a great actor. In fact, Lincoln saw Booth perform at the Ford's Theater in 1863. At the time, Booth was in the stage play called The Marble Heart, a role where Booth received excellent reviews. Lincoln liked Booth's performance so much that he sent a note to Booth inviting him to the White House. Booth never took Lincoln up on his visit. Number 11. People have claimed to see Lincoln's ghost. There are several White House ghost stories, but one of the most common and popular ghost stories are the ones that detail the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. In fact, Lincoln's spirit has been given the name the White House Ghost, and cited since his death in 1865. On top of this, there are several past residents of the White House, including presidents who have stated they have seen the ghost of Abraham Lincoln. A few of these people are Winston Churchill, Theodore Roosevelt, Eleanor Roosevelt, and Henry Truman. Number 10. Lincoln died in the Peterson House, not Ford's Theater. While John Wilkes Booth shot Abraham Lincoln at the Ford's Theater on April 14, 1865, he actually died the next morning at the Peterson House, which was across the street from the Ford's Theater. Brought to a bedroom, where he had to lay at an angle because he was too long for the bed. He laid in a coma for nearly 10 hours before he actually passed away. Doctors tried to save him through surgery, but it was not possible. Number 9. Lincoln did not attend his father's funeral. Thomas Lincoln, Abraham's father, passed away on January 17, 1851 in Coles County, Illinois. The funeral was to be a few days later, and while Lincoln heard, he refused to attend. Furthermore, Lincoln would not help pay for a headstone for his father, nor did he see Thomas as he was on his deathbed. While some people believe Lincoln did not attend his father's funeral because of their strained relationship, others feel it was because Lincoln was dealing with severe depression at the time, and could not bring himself to go to the funeral. Number 8. Lincoln wore a size 14 shoe. Abraham Lincoln was not only the tallest president of the United States of America in its history, but he is also the president with the biggest shoe size. Lincoln's shoe size was a size 14. About a year before he died, Abraham Lincoln went to Collar to get shoes specially made for him. In the drawing, it shows that Lincoln had a size 14 shoe. On top of that, there is a pair of goat slippers worn by Lincoln that is sometimes on display at the President Lincoln Cottage. Number 7. Lincoln did not smoke or chew. Abraham Lincoln was known to be a straightforward man throughout his whole life. Even once he became president and resided in the White House, Lincoln often chose quiet nights, where the family would sit and read or play games. Lincoln was also known to be a simple man, and he never drank alcohol at the White House, and possibly stopped drinking completely later in life. On top of this, Lincoln also did not smoke or chew tobacco. Number 6. Some of Lincoln's favorite foods were fruit. As stated before, Abraham Lincoln was a simple man, and this style followed him to his choices of food, while Mary, Lincoln's wife, often said that she had trouble getting him to remember to eat. The meals she learned he loved were always around, no matter where he was living. His favorite food was known to be fruit. However, Lincoln also had many other favorite foods, such as oysters, cheese, crackers, biscuits, apple pie, and chicken fricassee. Number 5. Grave robbers tried to steal Lincoln's body in 1876. On November 7, 1876, Big Jim Keneally and his crew decided to act out a plan where they would break into Lincoln's tomb and steal his corpse. Of course, the vault securely locked, so the men had to use many tools to break in. They were going to take the coffin away in a horse and buggy, when Keneally told one of his men, Swegles, to bring the horse and buggy. Swegles alerted the police instead. The police arrested the men, and Lincoln's only surviving son, Robert, hired the best lawyer to try the men and then buried his father. Number 4. Lincoln enjoyed telling jokes and stories. Abraham Lincoln was known to be a very mild-tempered and easygoing man. He often enjoyed making other people laugh, especially during tough times, such as the Civil War. For Lincoln, it did not matter what was going on in the world. If Lincoln could tell a joke and make someone laugh, he would. On top of this, Lincoln was known to be a great storyteller, and whether he asked someone to visit him in the White House, or he met someone on the street, he would often tell at least one story. Number 3. Lincoln would test rifles outside of the White House. President Abraham Lincoln took his commander-in-chief role seriously throughout the Civil War. Not only would he often visit the generals and soldiers on the battlefields and give speeches, but he would also fire the rifles which were going out to the soldiers. Lincoln took great care in the artillery that the Union troops would use, and spent many hours discussing the firing weapons with professionals. On top of this, he would shoot off the rifles outside on the White House grounds, even though this was illegal in Washington, D.C. Number 2. Lincoln's mother died due to poisoned milk. Abraham Lincoln was only 9 years old when his mother, Nancy Lincoln, passed away. She died on October 5, 1818, from what was called a mysterious milk illness. However, Nancy was not the only person to die due to this mysterious illness, as this same sickness killed several others in the area. Years later, people would learn that what really killed Nancy was tainted milk from a cow which had ingested poisonous white snakeroot. Number 1. Lincoln never slept in the Lincoln bedroom. Today, one of the most notable rooms in the White House is the Lincoln bedroom, decorated with a rosewood bed, simply called the Lincoln bed, which is believed to have been bought by Mrs. Lincoln when the family moved to the White House. However, Lincoln never actually slept in this room. What is now called the Lincoln bedroom was Lincoln's personal office, where he met with cabinet members, wrote the Emancipation Proclamation, and signed many vital documents.